Hey everyone, welcome back to Old Guy REI. In this latest episode of Work Band Confessions, I wanted to chat about a few things actually. A lot of good stuff's going on. First, let's see, today's Thursday, May 19th, 2024. Excuse me, it's May 16th. But yesterday was Wednesday, and a lot of you know that on Wednesdays I host a Zoom call with a lot of other investors, a lot of people that we got to meet in Vegas last year at Zuber's or at Party. And again, we went for about 3 hours last night. So we do that 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time each week. We've been fortunate to be able to do it every week for a few months now. There was a couple new people that joined us. Caesar Cruz joined us last night. And Harrison, his handle is TradeBetter20. You've probably seen him in the chats. So we talked about a few good things last night. In some parts we got a little bit sidetracked, but it's always a lot of fun. So if you're interested, shoot me an email in the comments or something. That's usually how I send out the invites. I'm really new to Zoom, so I'm trying to learn how to get all this stuff organized. But if you shoot me your email, I'll usually send out the invites just before the meeting each week, and we'd love to have you. I don't know everything, obviously, if you're following our journey. But there are several people in the group, and everybody's investing totally differently. And there's people that are way more experienced than I am and have done a lot more things than we have. So I think it's a good place if you're having issues, if you have questions about anything. One thing that I've been able to help a few investors with over the last couple of months is actually going over their inspection reports when they're under contract for a new property. If there's things that you don't understand, I've been in the business for over 30 years, so I've seen a couple things, and I can usually help explain some of the things that the inspection report might contain. So don't hesitate to reach out. Most of you know I'm a residential remodeling contractor. I don't do new construction, but we've remodeled a lot of homes over the years. And if you're doing a project or have questions about how to do a project, we might be able to help there too. And as for managing our portfolio, like I said in the last video, we were talking about what it takes day to day to manage a rental portfolio, and ours is fairly small yet, but it's all out of state. We're in 5 different states, and we can chuckle about that later. But we have property managers for each property. Last week I mentioned that we got a shut-off notice for the water on one of our properties. And so I just sent a picture of the notice to our property manager, and they're dealing with it. I just did a follow-up email with them to see if they were able to reach the tenant or not. And then, like I mentioned, one of the things that we do monthly basically is just check to make sure rents are coming in on time, to see if we need to take any action in that respect. And so far everything's coming in like it should. So it doesn't take a whole lot of time day to day or week to week, or even month to month to manage out of state. It's probably not easy for people to think of investing out of state. But since we're here in California, it was the best option for us at the time. And now that we have a few properties out of state, I think we're zeroing in on one market that we like, and that's the St. Louis, Missouri market. The homes, there's a bunch of well-built brick homes that were built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. And I think those take a little bit less maintenance on the exterior, of course. Inside is pretty standard with any other home. But as far as storms goes and rough weather, those kinds of things, seems like brick can stand up to those a little bit better. We also, last night we chatted about Zuber's upcoming event in February, and we're real excited to be able to go back there again. We're already planning flights and hotels and stuff like that. So hopefully you will be able to join us in that at that event too. He's planning on having a few more seats available this year than he had last year. But there was a lot of great learning done there, a lot of great networking. And I think networking was the biggest takeaway that, for us anyway, we met a lot of people that we talked to every week on Zoom and stuff. It was really cool to meet in person. Getting back to my routine. So obviously I'm still working, and that's one thing that I share sometimes too on my channel and on Instagram at Old Guy REI, that some of the projects that we do, and it seems to be of interest to a lot of you. So we'll keep doing that. And if you have any specific questions, definitely reach out, and I'll be happy to help. A couple of updates for the properties we were under contract for this past week. We were under contract for a turnkey in Illinois, and it ended up being that property was in a flood zone. So we decided to pass on it. We got a quote for flood insurance, and it was $1,000 a year. And that would have taken away all of our cash flow pretty much. Well, about half of it. And then we were also looking at a for sale by owner in St. Louis, and the seller just never wanted to get back in touch with our agent, so we passed on that one. She has a few new leads. The turnkey provider has a few more properties that he's going to send us to look at, and we'll be a little more diligent to check the flood status before we go under contract. It didn't cost us anything, but we were hoping to close at the end of this month. So that was a little disappointing. It would have added about $350 to $400 of cash flow to our existing portfolio. So that would have been nice. But, if it doesn't happen, there's probably a reason for it. And I think that's the way I'm going to look at this. And also to just keep on stabilizing what we do have. That's one thing I neglected in the beginning was, we were just buying them and seeing what happened, but we need to take action right away. And if you're working with a property manager, just make sure you guys see eye to eye. You understand how they operate and what to expect. And I think that will be helpful, whether it's a Section 8 tenant or a regular tenant, that comes into play as well. We bought one last summer that had a Section 8 tenant in place, and they wanted to stay, which was great. That's really our best performing property to date. But it took a while to get Section 8 changed over to our name and stuff. So it was 2 or 3 months before we actually received the rent on that. But it was all caught up. We didn't lose any money. It just took a while to get it into the account. So there's those kinds of things that are going to happen. A lot of the people in the group can talk to you about challenges they've had, lessons they've learned. We have people in Wisconsin that invest in their backyard. There's a few guys that live in Hawaii that invest in Pittsburgh. There's, one friend lives in Oregon, invests in Arizona. So a lot of us are remote investors, and we're all buy and hold investors. So I think there's a range of experience that can help everybody. In the beginning, I didn't think I had anything that I could offer, but I did make mistakes, and that ended up being how I could help you avoid my mistakes. So that's pretty cool. And things get better with each deal, and we're looking forward to hopefully we'll be able to pick up a couple more doors this year, and then we'll probably set that on cruise control and start saving up our cash from the rentals in the hopes of buying a 2 or 4 unit next year. So hopefully this all helps. Again, I haven't seen too many comments, but if you guys have comments, good or bad, just shoot them over. If I don't have an answer to your question or any experience on the subject, we might know someone who does. So join us. Thanks. We'll catch you on the next video.